Here is a question that feels strangely personal. Why do animals stare at humans? You walk past a dog, a cow, a bird, a deer, or a monkey, and for a moment it looks back at you as if it is trying to decide what kind of creature you are. The stare can feel funny, cute, uncomfortable, or slightly threatening. You know what you are thinking, but you do not know what the animal is reading from your face, your eyes, your posture, your movement, or your distance. Today, animal staring is often treated like a harmless moment. Someone films a cat watching them from across the room. A deer freezes beside a road. A goat stares with strange eyes. A bird tilts its head and studies you. But for early humans, being stared at by an animal was not always a small curiosity. It could be information. A predator watching from cover might mean danger. A prey animal staring could mean it had noticed you. A group of animals suddenly looking in one direction could warn that something else was nearby. In the ancient world, another creature's eyes could change what the group did next. The easy answer is to say animals stare because they are curious. Sometimes that may be true, but curiosity is not the whole story. Animals look at humans to judge risk, distance, intention, movement, opportunity, and threat. Are you hunting them? Are you feeding them? Are you weak? Are you dangerous? Are you alone or part of a group? Are you looking directly at them or only passing through? A stare is not only a stare, it can be a calculation. That is what makes this question deeper than it first appears. Early humans were not only observing animals were observing them back. A human group moving across a landscape was being watched by birds, prey animals, scavengers, predators, and other primates. Some animals learned to avoid humans, some learned to follow them, some learned that humans meant fire, food scraps, danger, tools, or opportunity. The relationship was not one way. So this video is not about pretending animals think exactly like humans. It is about the ancient tension inside eye contact. When an animal stares, it may be asking the oldest survival question, what are you and what are you about to do? The mistake is thinking the stare is always emotional in a human way. A person sees an animal looking directly at them and immediately turns it into a story. The animal likes me, hates me, judges me, understands me, or wants something from me. Sometimes animals do form social bonds with humans, especially domestic animals. But in a prehistoric setting, the first meaning of a stare was probably simpler and more urgent. The animal was gathering information. So the better question is not, why is that animal staring at me? The better question is, what does a human body mean to that animal right now? To a deer, a human might be a possible predator. To a scavenger, humans might mean meat scraps, danger, or a carcass nearby. To a predator, a lone human might look vulnerable, while a group of humans might look noisy and risky. To a bird, human movement might signal disturbance. To another primate, direct eye contact might carry tension, warning, curiosity, or social challenge. This reframes staring as survival reading. Animals are not only looking at your face, they are reading motion, speed, direction, posture, distance, smell, group size, sound, and whether you are looking back. A still stare can be a freeze response. A tilted head can help locate sound or movement. A long look can be risk assessment before fleeing, approaching, attacking, ignoring, or warning others. The stare is a pause before a decision. This also prevents the modern mistake of making humans the only observers in nature. Early humans watched animal behavior to find water, track prey, avoid predators, and read danger. But animals were also watching humans. The ancient landscape was full of mutual attention. Every look carried possible meaning because every creature was asking the same basic question. Is this safe, useful, dangerous, or irrelevant? To understand animal staring in the ancient world, imagine a landscape where every creature is trying to read every other creature before the next move happens. Early humans were not walking through empty scenery. They were moving through a world of watchers. Birds in trees, grazing animals near water, monkeys in branches, scavengers near carcasses, predators behind grass, and insects or small animals reacting to changes humans might not notice. In that world, an animal's stare could mean many different things. A deer freezing and staring might be deciding whether the human shape is far enough away to ignore or close enough to flee from. A bird staring and calling might be warning others that something has disturbed the area. A scavenger watching from a distance might be waiting to see whether humans leave meat behind. A predator staring from cover might be measuring weakness, numbers, distance, and surprise. The same eyes could mean curiosity, alarm, hunger, caution, or calculation, depending on the animal and the moment. For early humans, this mattered because animal attention was useful information. If several animals suddenly looked in one direction, something might be moving there. If birds went silent, the group might pay attention. If prey animals stared but did not run, The group might know they were noticed but not yet close enough to trigger panic. If an animal stared too calmly, that could also be strange. A creature that does not flee may be sick, habituated, dangerous, or protected by size, teeth, or confidence. The ancient context was a world without written signs but full of living signals. Humans watched animals for clues about water, weather, predators, food, and safe movement. Animals watched humans for the same basic reason, to decide whether this upright, noisy, tool-carrying primate was threat, opportunity, or something to avoid. Eye contact was not just communication. It was part of the negotiation of survival. The evidence for animal staring does not come from one simple answer, because a stare can mean different things in different species. But several lines of evidence help explain why animals look at humans so carefully. The first layer is vigilance. Many animals survive by noticing possible danger before it becomes too close. A deer staring at a human may be freezing long enough to decide whether to flee. A bird turning its head may be checking direction, distance, and movement. A prey animal does not need to understand humans in a deep human way. It only needs to answer a practical question. Is this shape safe, risky, or moving toward me? The second layer is gaze sensitivity. Research on animals shows that many species respond not only to bodies but to where heads and eyes are directed. Some birds can react differently when a predator appears to be looking toward them. Many social animals also follow the gaze of others, because another animal's attention can reveal food, danger, or social information. This matters for humans because your eyes are not neutral signals. Looking directly at an animal can feel threatening to some species, while looking away can reduce pressure. The stare becomes part of the negotiation. The third layer is learning from experience. Animals do not treat all humans the same in every setting. Domestic animals, urban wildlife, and animals repeatedly exposed to humans can learn whether humans bring food, danger, noise, restraint, or opportunity. A dog may stare to read a familiar person. A goat, crow, monkey, or scavenger may watch human hands, direction, or movement because humans often change the environment. A wild animal with little human exposure may stare because the upright body is unfamiliar and needs assessment. The fourth layer is mutual observation. Early humans watched animals to find water, prey, predators, weather changes, and hidden movement. But animals watched humans too. A group of humans could mean hunters, competitors, noisy disturbance, leftover food, fire, thrown stones, or danger. The evidence does not say an animal staring at you is thinking a human sentence. It suggests something more basic and older. Animals look because looking buys information before action. In the ancient world, that pause could decide whether an animal fled, approached, warned others, followed, attacked, or simply waited. The mechanism begins with attention. An animal that stares is pausing before action, and that pause can be more important than the stare itself. Looking gives the animal time to measure distance, movement, direction, group size, sound, and risk. A deer does not need to know your story. It needs to know whether your body is moving closer, whether your eyes are fixed on it, whether you are alone, and whether escape is still easy. The stare is a small delay that helps prevent the wrong decision. The first mechanism is threat assessment. Many animals survive by making quick judgments before danger becomes too close. If they flee too early, they waste energy and lose feeding time. If they flee too late, they may die. So they stare, freeze, listen, smell, and compare the human shape against past experience. Is this creature hunting, passing by, looking away, moving slowly, carrying something, acting like a predator or acting like background noise? The second mechanism is curiosity mixed with caution. Humans are strange animals. They stand upright, move their hands in complicated ways, carry objects, make loud sounds, travel in groups, and change landscapes. To many animals, a human may be worth watching because humans are unpredictable. A stare can mean, I do not understand this yet, so I will not ignore it. The third mechanism is learning. If an animal has seen humans bring food, throw stones, chase, feed, trap, shout, or walk harmlessly past, that memory changes the next stare. Domestic animals may stare to read human attention. Wild animals may stare to decide whether humans are dangerous. Scavengers may watch because humans can create leftovers. Predators may watch because humans can be prey, competitors, or a risky group. So the animal stare is not one emotion. It is a survival pause. The eyes gather information before the body chooses. Run, approach, warn, follow, attack, or stay still. Imagine a small group moving along the edge of a forest toward a waterhole. The humans are not alone even before they see anything large. Birds shift in the branches. A few grazing animals lift their heads. Somewhere in the grass, a hidden creature stops moving. The group feels watched before it knows exactly who is watching. Near the water, a deer freezes and stares. Its body is still, but its decision is not finished. It is measuring distance, speed, direction, and whether the upright shapes are coming closer. One human takes another step, and the deer's ears turn. A child whispers. An adult raises a hand to slow the group. The stare tells them something. They have been noticed, but the animal has not chosen to flee yet. Then several birds suddenly look toward the same patch of brush. One gives a sharp call. The humans follow the direction of the attention. At first, there is nothing. Then the grass moves in a way the wind does not explain. Maybe it is a predator. Maybe only another animal. But the group does not ignore the pattern. Animal eyes have become part of the warning system. Farther away, a scavenger watches from a low rock. It is not afraid enough to leave, but not confident enough to approach. It has learned that humans can mean meat scraps, thrown stones, fire, shouting, or danger. Its stare is not friendship, it is calculation. If the humans leave food behind, it may come closer. If they turn toward it together, it may step back. By the time the group reaches the water, they have read more than the ground. They have read the watchers around them. A deer's pause, a bird's call, a scavenger's patience, a hidden animal's stillness. All of it becomes information. In that ancient landscape, animals did not only appear as food or threat, they were also living signals. Their eyes helped humans understand what the land was about to do next. The twist is that animals staring at humans may have helped humans become better at reading the world. A stare is uncomfortable because it feels like attention aimed at you. But in the ancient landscape, that attention was not just about the animal. It was also a clue. If an animal froze and looked, something had changed. If many animals looked in one direction, the group might look there too. If birds stared, called, or went silent, the air around the camp could suddenly feel different. So the animal stare was not only a question pointed at humans, it was also an answer humans could use. The deer staring at you might be deciding whether you are dangerous, but its stillness also tells you that you have been noticed. The scavenger watching from a distance might be waiting for leftovers, but it also tells you that a carcass or food opportunity may be nearby. The predator looking from cover may be judging weakness, but if you see the stare in time, its advantage has already begun to weaken. That is the deeper twist. Humans were not the only intelligent readers in the landscape. Animals were reading humans, and humans were reading animals reading them. Survival became a loop of attention. Your ancestors did not simply ask, "What is that animal doing?" They may have learned to ask, "What does that animal think I am doing? And what has that animal noticed before I have?" In that way, animal stares were part of an ancient conversation without words. Eyes became warnings, invitations, challenges, and clues. The animal looked because it needed information. The human looked back because the animal's attention might contain information too. Today, animals staring at humans can feel funny because modern life often removes the old stakes. A dog watches you because it wants food, attention, or a signal. A cat stares from across the room and you turn it into a joke. A cow, goat, bird, deer, or monkey looks at you and you wonder what is happening inside that head. The moment feels small because you are usually protected by distance, buildings, fences, cars, roads, or the simple fact that the animal is not deciding your survival. But the older version of that stare was sharper. For early humans, an animal's eyes could matter before anything else moved. A prey animal staring could mean the group had been detected. A predator staring could mean the advantage of surprise was not yet gone. But it was close. A bird's sudden attention could point toward hidden movement. A scavenger watching from a distance could mean food nearby, danger nearby, or both. In a world without signs, cameras, or warning systems, animal attention was one of the landscape's languages. That is why the question, "Why do animals stare at humans?" has no single emotional answer. Sometimes they stare from fear, sometimes from curiosity, sometimes from hunger, caution, habit, learning, or social interest. Sometimes the stare means, "Are you dangerous?" Sometimes it means, "Will you feed me?" Sometimes it means, "Are you about to move?" And sometimes it means nothing deep at all beyond a nervous system collecting information before the body chooses what to do next. The modern mirror is that you still feel the power of being watched because your brain understands attentions as meaningful. A stare from another creature can still make you slow down, laugh, feel chosen, feel threatened, or look behind you. That feeling is ancient. It comes from a time when eyes were not decoration, they were signals. So why do animals stare at humans? Because humans are worth assessing. They are upright, noisy, unpredictable, social, dangerous, useful, strange, and sometimes generous. Animals look because looking buys time. Your ancestors survived by noticing that look, interpreting it, and sometimes using it as information about the world beyond themselves. Long before maps and warning signs, the eyes of animals helped humans read the land, and the land was always reading back.